Hi, and thanks so much for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the CID in Harris Ranch. And you're probably thinking, what's the CID? Well, the CID in basic terms is a community infrastructure district that was created before a development started. Now, there was a necessary bridge to be built, some roads, lights, fire, streets. So all of those things were needing to be built, and this CID was created for the future development and for future growth. So that was the initial intent of the CID. And we're going to be going through a little bit of those details, like what is the CID? What does it include? Is it a bond? Is it like Mello-Roos? So I'm going to be explaining more about that. But frankly, Harris Ranch would not have gotten approved without the CID. So the city did not want to develop Harris Ranch. Harris Ranch was owned by the Harris family mostly, and they grazed cattle and ran cattle on that property. They actually had property up on the hill on the mesa, on the Warm Springs Mesa, and they overlooked the entire ranch area. Well, the Harris family got together with a gentleman by the name of Mr. Fowler, and they created a development group, and they got other builders to sign off on developing with them. And to do that, what they needed to do was to create a tax levy that it was increased so that it helped pay for all that infrastructure over time. So when you think about it, so there was money laid out, like $30 million to build the bridge, and then slowly over time, that is paid off by the taxes and the homes that are built there, and those taxes that they gather because of that additional levy that they put on the tax bill. So that's a really, really simple way to explain it. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about, the rest of the CID, and a little bit also about Dallas Harris Estates. I just think it'll be really interesting, and a lot of people have, some confusion about the CID. What does it mean, and what do I get for that? And so if you've ever been to Harris Ranch, and if you've ever experienced the roads, parks, streets, the lights, the fire station, all of the great things that are there, it costs money to do that. And that includes, sewer, water, all of those good things that make a community thrive. And so let me explain a few things. I have what's called the CID Harris Ranch document that was drafted by the city and kind of helps to explain a little bit about. So let's dive in and talk about that, and then we'll also talk about Dallas Harris Estates. So the primary stakeholders for the levy and the district are the residents of the district, the developer and the owner, which was the Harris family as well as Fowler, and then the district board of directors. So there's an appointed board of directors, and then staff and contractors of the district. And so people who have, designed it and put it together. The governance and the formation, the district's primary governing rules are from Idaho Title 50, and that's Chapter 31, and a developer agreement signed between the city of Boise, the owner, and the district itself. Now, the district has three forms of taxes: the general obligation bond levy, based on the property value, and the administration level levy based on the property value, and the special assessment tax based on the property size, so the acreage. So the general obligation bond are based on a 2.85 mil levy rate. That means that, say, 0.285% of the property value within the district, less any exemption. So your homeowner's exemption of $125 would come off that levy. And then the authority for issuing the bonds was granted by vote of all the property owners in 2010. Believe it or not, they did agree to that. The administrative levy regular operational costs of the district is capped at 0.01%. So there is a cap, great, because they, obviously you don't want them to have, carte blanche to go as high as they want. of the market value of the district less any exemptions. And again, your homeowner's exemption in 2024 is 125. Be cool if that went up. So, and it might. Special assessment tax. The special assessment tax is used to pay for debt service of the 2021 special assessment bond. Each year, the properties in the assessment are assessed for size and added to the assessment rolls. So any new parcels, any new properties that close and actually get title and ownership and new owners paying those taxes, then they get added to that. So the project reimbursement eligibility is defined within the Idaho State Code and the developer agreement. And the reimbursement costs include planning, design, construction, as well as other expenses. And then all reimbursements must flow through the public bidding process. So if you wanted to save on some of those expenses, you'd go through a bid process. And the developer submits reports with projects for reimbursement. If the projects are eligible for reimbursement, then bonds are issued and proceeds are used for reimbursement. So in other words, if the developer has an outlay of expenses, they can get reimbursed for those. So there are public meetings. The district holds 4 meetings a year, although all meetings are public. Only the budget one is receive testimony. And then just to kind of go over some primary stakeholders, the residents, the developer, which is the Harris Family Limited Partnership, owns the land at which the community infrastructure projects are built, primarily reimbursed for transfer of land into public ownership. Then the Barber Valley Development, Inc., of which includes Fowler, and they're primarily reimbursed for community infrastructure project costs as well. District Board of Directors and the staff, and then Idaho Title 50, Chapter 31 is kind of how these guidelines are met and monitored. And then there are 3 types of taxes again. And then so you'll see on the tax bill, I'll show this to you. So you'll see this in red. The tax levy is 0.0289964. And if we talk about what that looks like on your taxes, we're going to show you this. So if you're at 0.0285%, that means that if the property is worth $100,000, the taxpayer pays $285, and or the tax of $1425 for a $500,000 property. This approach to taxation is unique to the district. Most taxing districts, such as the city of Boise and Eagle County, and the school districts tax based on a relatively stable budget. In contrast, the district has a fixed levy, and its budget expands and contracts with the change in the aggregate property values of the district, if that makes sense. So if the property values go up or go down, then that will change because they are trying to maintain to pay a debt service, if that makes sense. So if the property values go down, then that debt service can't get paid if it's based on XYZ property values, if that makes sense. So let's see if there's anything that's super. One of the frequently asked questions is that why are there pockets within the district that do not pay the general tax levy? And then that's because in 2010, when the owners voted to create the district, there were subdivisions that had already been built. Because the owners within those subdivisions did not join the district in its creation, they are not subject to any of the taxes of the district. Make sense? So if they had already been built, why would they pay into a new district that's just creating roads for the new district? Makes sense. So a couple other things. I've got a actual Harris Ranch Community Infrastructure District. The CID is in yellow. So if you can see this, I'm gonna enlarge this a little bit. It does include quite a bit of the Park Center area, that Park Center region as well. And then also some kind of tidbits about Dallas Harris Estates. That was developed by the Harris Ranch family, the Barber Valley Development, and Boise Hunter Homes as well. So, they began that, and then those Park Boulevard most of those homes, those townhomes were built when it was Tahoe Homes and then switched over to Black Rock. same owner. And so you can see here that BHH Harris LLC is Boise Hunter Homes. And so that's James H. Hunter. And so he was involved in the Dallas Harris Estates, and he did a great job. I think the Dallas Harris Estates is a really cute subdivision with pools, and it's just got park, and it's just kind of a really neat little enclave of different levels of homes and different styles of homes. And I think, Mr. Hunter did a great job with that. And then we have a few other of the blocks that I wanted to show you in sub 1. And then also, I'm going to show you all of the actual subs in Dallas Harris. There are a lot. So there are 17 in the main Dallas Harris subdivision, and then there are 2 in the Dallas Harris South. And it just continues to grow. So you can go on Title I's website and look at in the property profiles, you can pull up the CC&Rs, and you can actually look at all the subdivisions for Dallas Harris Estates. You just plug in Dallas Harris Estates and all the subs will come up, and you can click on those if you're wondering about your sub or you're wondering about a particular subdivision and those conditions and restrictions that subdivision might have. I will say that the Dallas Harris Estates HOA is incredibly responsive, and they've been great to work with during our listing. So we've been, really encouraged by that. And so if you have any questions about this subdivision, Dallas Harris or Harris Ranch as a whole, so there are many, many different subs in Harris Ranch, and it is beautiful and it's getting prettier and prettier. And there are now, grocery stores and coffee shops and clinics, and a new VA clinic is going, opening there. And so there's just a lot of really cool things about it. And the fire station is a no alarm station, which means that they don't, turn on their alarms when they're entering and leaving. So that means that you barely know they're there, which is really awesome, but yet also makes you feel safe that you have a fire station really close by. So those are just some of the things about Harris Ranch that I love. I also love the fact that there are some really amazing parks, because that whole Harris Ranch area is right along the Boise River, and it's super idyllic, and it leads all the way to Highway 21 and Lucky Peak Reservoir, as well as Diversion Dam, which is right there. So a lot to see, a lot to know, and a lot to love about Harris Ranch. And as always, if you have more questions, we'd love to have a real estate related conversation with you about your real estate plans for 2024 and 25. And as always, be safe, be happy, and be home in Idaho. Bye-bye.